Okay, it sounds like we're good. It also sounds like I might have to be careful as to not to get too excited because it picks up really well. And I don't want to hurt your eardrums. So we're going to try our best. Who knows? Based on the nature of this video, it may not be hard, but also I'm in a good mood, so it might be hard. We will find out together. Hello, happy. Am I in the middle? I feel like. You know what? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not that serious. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. I'm also gonna try not to move too much because this chair, it makes a lot of noise. I am excited to finally be recording something to put out on the internets. And I just feel like I emotionally need to make this video before I can move on to other videos. And that is gonna be just like an update or recap of my 2023 and hopefully sharing some lessons that I learned because it was a rough 2023. I'm calling it my best worst year ever because it really was one of my worst years ever, but it was like of all of the worst years I've ever had, it was the best one. A lot of shitty stuff happened in 2023 in my life, but a lot of really good things happened too, like things that are so good that sometimes I stop and I'm like, wow, I am so lucky. I am so blessed and I'm so happy to be here. But even with that, there are some moments. Okay, there was a lot of moments. We're gonna get into it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I feel like after the fact, it's kind of sort of like what the point? I'm clearly out of practice. It kind of sort of feels like, what's the point after the fact? So I will not go into too much detail. I may bring up certain things that I mention now in other videos in more detail as they become pertinent. And of course, I will share my lessons learned. I think they're things that can apply to pretty much anyone's life. If you go through something similar or just something that's like generally not easy. So I really hope the audio is going to be okay. I'm going to be really upset if like... Anyways, so my notes are on my laptop. I could get them from my phone, but I'm using my phone to record. I will need a new camera soon. Okay, so I'll just be casually looking to the side where my notes are. Let me just grab this real fast. The first one is very important because it happened at 12:47 a.m. on January 1, 2023. My grandfather passed away. I was going through a job search, which in this economy, you know, it's rough. Side note, I'm still going through the job search. I was also finishing up a technical boot camp, a technical sales boot camp. Was not a fan of the employer I had/have, and it was getting worse and worse every day. It was sucking the soul and life out of me, and still is sometimes. I was in visa limbo because my visa expired, but then the government was giving everyone an extension, but then they were very not good about how they were giving people that extension, so the process was extra delayed, which means there was a lot of us that like technically had permission to still be here, but also didn't have that like on paper that we were still allowed to be here, so it made going anywhere really complicated. And then the government, the immigration workers, they went on strike, which good for them for demanding, you know, a better life and more money, but it further delayed the process. And then I finally got my visa, but there was a long stretch where I thought I'd have to leave. So I got my visa just in time. But so that was a lot. That was a lot worrying about if this was even made sense to like try and establish my life here by looking for jobs here, because am I going to be deported? I don't know. Maybe. I had a lot of financial struggles. I started dating again. That was one of the positives. I have begun the mourning process of some of the relationships of my life and what they could have been, but will never be. I dyed my hair a few times. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I feel like dyeing my hair is like one of my favorite mental health tips for myself. It makes me feel so good, and it just gives me something fun to look at every day. This one's big. This one's really important. I went on a life-changing, I'm not even exaggerating, I went on a life-changing trip to Asia. I went to Thailand, and I will eventually explain why it was life-changing and how it was life-changing, and we'll get there, but for now, we'll just say I went on a life-changing trip to Thailand. I became an auntie. I went through dental surgery and am still in the process of going through dental surgery because I need multiple things done. And I had a bonfire. I had a bonfire to celebrate the end of a part of my life and to finally let it go, which was also really positive. It was like a very mixed emotion, but mostly positive. I'm sure there's like a few things sprinkled in here and there that, and most importantly, I started therapy. Thank you. I'm very proud of myself. I've always been pro therapy. I just never felt like it was accessible to me. And let's just say that it came to the point where I didn't have a choice anymore. So I'm in therapy. I made it happen. And I'm super happy with my therapist. They're like, I knew that I wouldn't want to do therapy unless it was with a therapist that looked like me or lived a lifestyle like me in some way. And the way that I found a therapist that checked like 80 to 90% of my boxes, I am like, I know that I am like incredibly lucky. We can just dig right deep into what's going on in my life and what my past looks like. And I don't have to explain things. I don't have to explain what my experience as who I am is. You know what I mean? Because they get it, because they also lived similar experiences. You feel what I'm saying? So that is everything that happened to me in 2023. That is what my 2023 looked like. Those are like the big things. So we're just gonna get straight into the lessons because where's the cursor? Whew. My patience these days. Okay, let's calm down. Let's take a sip of tea. Oh my God, delicious. Okay, so let's move on to the lessons that I've learned this year. They're in no particular order that maybe you haven't thought of yet. Maybe it'll spark something and be like, oh, I can live my life this way. The first one, this is my biggest lesson and probably the hardest one and the most painful one for me, but like also the best because it means I can move accordingly. And that is, not everyone will have the pleasure of knowing you as a whole person, and that's okay. It's especially true for those of us that live outside the norm or who belong to any subculture or counterculture. And sometimes it will be someone you love very much. Not everyone is your people, and you know, it's in an ideal world, we could all be our whole selves in front of everybody. But when you belong to certain minority groups and you have certain counterculture beliefs and think the world should be a certain way that it is not, is actually unsafe for many of us in those situations to be our full whole selves in front of certain people. Sometimes that just is the way it is, and you can try and make it so that you can be your whole self around those people, but you also can choose not to. That's okay. It might be painful depending on who those people are, but that's the lesson. I have nothing else to say. So, lesson number 2, the next lesson. There is a season for rest and there is a season for action, and you shouldn't feel shame for prioritizing the first one. Whew. This one, what do I say about this one? So the first thing I mentioned in my what happened to me in 2023 portion of this is that my grandfather passed away, and it was devastating. I'm still devastated. I just have gotten used to it. It's been a year now, but I've had a grandfather before that pass away. And there have been people in my life that are very important that pass away, but nothing that hit me like this one did. And it was my first time really grieving, like deeply grieving. I'm actually not sure that I'm not still grieving. And I know grieving never really stops, but I mean, I don't think I've gone through an ebb and flow yet. I'm not sure if I've if I'm still climbing the peak or if I've gone through a low and I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I had to learn to rest. I had to learn to prioritize rest, which sounds wild. That sounds so wild because rest is a vital need. We cannot survive if we don't rest. But as I mentioned, I was job searching because I was not happy at my job, and I had just completed a technical sales boot camp. And I completed that boot camp at the end of December 2022. And then I was like, cool, we're done. I'm going to start in January. I'm going to go hardcore on my search in January. And then life said, side quest. Actually, you're going to rest. You're going to go to bed. That's what you're going to do. So that's what I did. And I put a lot of it on hold. I went through a very large period where my usual go-getterness was needed to sleep and take a chill pill. So that's what I did. Next lesson is never underestimate the power of a sunny day to alter the course of your day or mood. I feel like this one's a given. We all know what vitamin D does. We all know what it's like to be out on a nice sunny day if it's not heat wave level and you're gonna pass out, of course. But something about being in the sun, listen, it's the reason why I have a sun tattoo on my back. I could be having a shit-tastic day, and if I can sit in the sun for 5 minutes, it improves my day drastically. So I know it's hard when you're in a depression funk, what is it called? Episode. I know it's hard when you're in a depressive episode to get out or even do anything. Let's be honest, it's really hard. But if you can, please go get some sun. I know it's winter right now, it's January. For a lot of us, there is no sun right now. But if you can, do it. I highly recommend. Next lesson. This one I actually learned at the end of the year. Sometimes the only thing standing between you and your dreams is your ego. Your ego will have you out here looking like a straight bull or thinking that you do. Do I explain this one or do I just move on? Because I feel like it's self-explanatory, but I also feel like it can be confusing, and part of me wants to leave it confusing, not because I want you to be confused, but because I want you to simmer in it. Okay, if you want to figure it out yourself, I'll put on the screen where to skip to. If you want to hear, then keep watching. So I always thought I understood ego. And then I was listening to a song, and then it prompted me to look up the word ego. And then I was like, oh, I've been completely wrong about what ego actually is this entire time. So when and I don't think I'm alone. So ego is criticism. It's an inflated criticism. So ego is an inflated sense of self. And on the negative side, ego is an inflated sense of criticism. So yes, ego could be, oh my gosh, I'm so great at this one thing, but ego could also be, this is not good enough, I'm not going to put this out. That's your ego talking, because it probably is fine. Your ego is the only thing standing in the way between you and your dreams. And then finally, the last one. This might be a hot take, and I might regret this later, but hear me out. You don't need to forgive everyone that hurt you, but you also don't need to hold on to it forever. Rather, you don't have to tell everyone that has hurt you that they hurt you. You're allowed to just move on if that's best for you. Now, let me just move my laptop out the way. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for forgiving others because it's best for you, not because it's best for them. And I think we would be in a better world if we could forgive others. That being said, I think that sometimes forgiving doesn't necessarily precede moving on. Sometimes you have to move on in order to come back and forgive. Does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me. There have been situations, and in the last year, where I would like to forgive, and it was hard, and I felt like I couldn't move on until I forgave, even if I never told them that I forgave them. But it actually did me better to just move on and live my life, and then realize like it's okay. I forgive them now. Let me know if that resonates with you, because it goes against the more common thought of just forgive them because that's for you and not for them, which I agree with, but I just don't think it necessarily precedes moving on. I think it can happen in the other order. So you can let me know if you agree or not. But yeah. On that note, it could also happen at the same time. Like, I feel like you can do both at the same time. Like, you could be in the process of forgiving and you're also still moving on. Like, I just don't feel like the order has to be forgive and then move on. I think it can be mixed up a little and still be successful. So you can tell me what you think though. So those are all my lessons. Please let me know if any of them like either resonated with you or sparked something. I would love to know, because I would like to think I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone, but it'd be nice to hear if you feel comfortable. I know our names are attached to these things, so no stress. Before I go, I just want to leave with a few conclusions about what the year is going to look like here on this channel. I think in the past years, I was always afraid to say things like this because I wasn't confident that I would be showing up. But I am still scared, but I'm scared now not because I don't believe in myself. I'm only scared because of my past of not showing up for myself. But I know that I will, even though it feels scary to say. Anyways, that's a side note. So I called these conclusions, but they're really like just something for me to let you know if you are subscribed or you would like to subscribe. I would love if you would join us so that you know what the upcoming year is going to look like, what 2024 will look like if everything, I'm not going to phrase it like that. Let me backtrack. How I would like for 2024 to look on my channel. Here it is. So the first thing you should know is, you know what? We need to put the laptop back on my lap. I thought I could do the whole like twist. It's just not working. So it's giving me good lighting though. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the first thing that you should know about me in this channel for 2024 is that I am actively putting in effort to showing up differently than I have in any other year in my life. And that is like, that both goes for my life outside of YouTube and for this channel. So did I phrase that right? I'm actively putting in effort to coming into 2024 with different energy. So and I'll talk about it more in other videos, but I am like quite literally putting in active effort. Like I am actually doing things, not just planning things, to come into the new year different. And I hope that reflects in this channel and that it'll be a good time. I think it's going to be a good time. So, the other thing is, this might be kind of sad. It's a little sad for me, but I'm finally coming to terms with it. And I finally feel like it's the right thing. I'm finally ready to let go, move on. But I am deleting all, this sounds so dramatic. I am deleting all or most of my past videos. And there's like 90 of them. There's a lot. I've been doing this on and off for a long time. I almost said it as if like I've been posting a video every week for the past 6 years, but it's been on and off. But still, I have all total, I think, almost 100 videos. I'm gonna check now. I have, how many videos do I have, YouTube? I'm so sorry, please hold. Yes, view my channel. I have 95 videos. This will be my 96th. That is almost 100. See, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm having doubts, but I have 95 videos right now on YouTube. And those, I think my oldest video was probably 6 years ago. It's 2024, probably 8 years ago now, actually. Again, let's just check. Why not? We're here, we're doing it. Let's just look. 7 years ago. Oh my God. I'm looking at these thumbnails And my doubts of unlisting these videos has gone away. I have no doubt now. It's the right thing to do, because I was a different person 7 years ago. I'm the same person, but I'm also not. And the energy I was trying to come in with and the things I was trying to do and show 7 years ago with my little adorable 13 views. I can't. It's so funny. Sorry, I had a moment. Woo! It's just not what or who I am anymore. So we are unlisting all my videos. They're still going to be there, and maybe one day I will relist them. Honestly, my biggest reason why why the thought of unlisting most or all of my videos was not hitting with me initially is because once I relist it, it shows it as the date that you relist it. Why, YouTube? Why do you do that? If I posted it 10 years ago, why not, when I make it available to others again, show the old date? I don't understand that. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, so that was initially why I didn't want to, but it's time. I'm just going to write in the description of each video what date it was initially aired. And so if it ever comes the day where, I'm doing very well in YouTube, I want to be like, hey, look at this thing I did so long ago. Haha, isn't this funny? We all know when the original date was. Okay. So that is a big thing you should know, or a big thing I want to share. Should you know it? Probably not, because right now I have 396 subscribers. I doubt all 396 of those people are going to be like, what happened to her other videos? It's probably going to be like 5 of you, and it's probably going to be all my friends. So I'm deleting, or unlisting rather, most or all of my videos. I haven't decided if it will be all of them or most of them. I'm thinking it'll be most of them because I still feel like there's some within the last year or two that might make sense to keep. But yeah, those are my conclusions. Now I can put my laptop to the side. Those are my conclusions. I was hoping this would be a quick video. I've now been recording for almost 42 minutes. Obviously, there's plenty to cut out, but I'm not going to stress too much about the length because I really just wanted to get this information and update out to you. So thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you've seen any of my older videos, I don't know what to tell you. If you really want to always have access to one of them, let me know and I'll give you the link. But thank you for being here. I hope you will stick around if my content still makes sense for you. If it doesn't, no pressure. I don't want anyone following me if they don't jive with me. So I will not take it personally. I might take it a little bit personally, maybe just a little bit, but then I'll remember that people are acting in their own best interest and it makes sense. And then I won't take it personally. So don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I'm in therapy now. It's fine. So do what you gotta do. Yeah, thanks for being here. I will see you in the next video. Oh, last thing. Sorry, there's one more conclusion. I'm so sorry. And I kind of said this in a previous video, but who knows if that video will still be up. So we're just gonna say it again now. And that is, I will be posting every other week. I might post more often than that, but I'm only holding myself accountable for posting every other week. So just thought you should know, if you're like me and you have ADHD and you like to get notified when certain people post, then I suggest that you put a little bell, because 2 weeks is a long time to remember, oh, I should check out so-and-so, You feel me? Okay. Even if you don't have ADHD, you could do that. That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that. But that's it. That's all. Thank you so much again for the umpteenth time for being here. And it's going to sound weird because I don't really know you. You probably don't really know me, but I love you. Thank you. And I'll see you later.